Hello, welcome to another episode of Daily Market Mastery with me, Christian Rauchenwald, on this Friday afternoon. I hope you all had a great and successful trading week. As always, before we jump into the markets and my portfolio, let's get the usual disclaimer out of the way first. Everything that I share in this video / live stream is my personal opinion and in no way financial or professional advice. You should always do your own research, consult certified professionals, draw your own conclusions, and make your own decisions. Besides that, all the tools that I'm using, so the broker, the charting software, the strategy I'm following, and so on, are all linked in the video description down below. And the one thing I truly recommend, if you haven't done so, is to check out the Elliott Wave principle, so the strategy that I'm trying to follow, which you can read online for free when you use the link in the description down below, or you can use the same link and then eventually order yourself your own hard copy. Now, with that said, while yesterday we had green start into the day, today we have a slight red start into the day. So while it feels like we're moving sideways most of the time, we're actually moving sideways and up, but it's still feels like I said, sometimes it feels like moving sideways because most days we open more or less break even. Anyway, portfolio is unchanged. For those of you that are new here, I hold 600 shares of GameStop. Against those, I have 6 covered calls sold that expire on January 17th at the $30 strike price. We have some exposure to Course, Neo, Immersion, Barnes & Noble Educational, some other, in quotes, gamble positions that are a little bit smaller, and call options in Novavax and Grab. Not all of them are paying off, as we see, so we'll jump into that. Again, nobody's always right. But overall, we are moving in the right direction. So even with some losing trades in between. Anyway, if we look at the chart, the first thing we'll have is, as so often, GameStop, since it has our biggest exposure. Visually, it appears that we're in the process of getting a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 move downwards here. 5 might not be finished yet. The point here would be that we actually expect to go down to the 61.8 retracement. We will have to wait for a break of 27.27 to have some additional confirmation that this is indeed the case, because right now it's also possible that I mislabeled and that we are actually going up from here in another 5 waves. So also, before we're moving on, and Nick, if you're watching, please say hello or something in the chat so I know that you're there. And with that, we can actually, move on. So GameStop unchanged. We're covering every day. I think yesterday we looked a little bit closer at the entire pattern here, but the current assumption would be we have a leading diagonal, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, followed by 5 waves up, 3 waves down in some way, 5 waves up. So for an A, B, C or A, B, C, and followed now, theoretically, if we're right, by a wave C that ideally should take us at least to this mark here. But that would, in my opinion, not be sufficient because wave C should actually go below wave A. Hi, Nick. Thank you for stopping or for taking the time to say hello. So in wave C, I expect we will go down here. But again, we need to go a little lower for confirmation. Obviously, that would be my dream scenario because it means the chances that my call option will expire worthless here in January 17th increases, which means we keep the shares potentially and will be able to sell more covered calls than at potentially higher strike prices. So that much about GameStop. Now, Barnes & Noble Education, spiked a little lower here. So that actually is the candle from today, we traced further than I expected. It's a little tricky with the pattern here. Yesterday, I explained it a little bit further. I'm fairly certain that our overall labeling is correct, that we have a correction that finishes here at the 61.8 retracement, which also happens to be the area of wave 4 of the previous impulse wave of 1 degree lower. So the 1, 2, 3, 4 here. And with a nice ABC move where wave C is almost exactly 100% of wave A. So I'm fairly certain that we're looking at the next 5 waves up. However, it's possible that they are in the form of a diagonal, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, or 3, 4 till here. It's not a very nice pattern. That makes it a little bit confusing. We reached the minimum target for the assumption if that whole thing would be a big ABC move. So there is a pattern possible that points towards downwards, in which case I'm going to kick my own ass for not taking the profits. but we also don't hold a very big position. So we have around 50 shares. So it's not the end of the world if I turn out to, yeah, I mean, I'm still right. So like if it turns out that we go a little bit further down here, yeah, like I would be proven wrong if we cross the 831 down here, then we would have to look for alternative patterns. Until that happens, as said, it's still possible that we're simply retracing this 5-wave move. And after that, we should go up further. So we're just going to hold on to our shares. Yeah, immersion, correcting a bit. We got the break that we were waiting for here, and now we're retracing a little bit lower. This will, in my opinion, this will be a set like ABC for a corrective pattern, and we're right now looking at the next upwards move. I would be proven wrong in this case if we break the low that we had here at 817. So then this will need to be something else, and I will have to go back to the drawing board. But just like with ENET, our exposure is not that big, so we're just going to hold on and see what the future holds. Course unchanged, sideways movement. We're waiting for the break of the top here or the low here to know more. NEO, that one's going to be interesting, especially the next couple of days. Check yesterday's episodes for more details. I still believe we're bottomed and are going up from here. Novavax retracing slightly. I would assume that we have 5 waves up, 3 waves down, and that would need to be ideally the next wave up, wave down, unless this is a flat correction, and this would be wave A, wave B, followed by wave C, then we would get lower here, and then we go further up. Either way, at this point, it's, yeah, like, it looks like my January 17 calls are dead in the water. So if the correction finished here, then there might still be a chance for a stronger move to basically at least be able to close them out for a smaller loss. But from the looks of it, right now it looks like 3 waves, which means we would get 5 waves down, which means then we're already at the end of December, and then until January 17th, there are not that many days left for actually upwards movements. So yeah, like that's going to be probably a losing trade here. So, but we'll keep an eye on it. So to know if once we have a confirmed pattern that the correction is over, I still am convinced that there is another 5-wave move upward coming. So we'll just have to then consider if we buy shares instead or buy some other call options instead. Moving on into crypto a little bit, Bitcoin has been retracing quite aggressively. So where there, I'm actually surprised, to be honest. So because now we also broke the 94,000 mark briefly, at least. It's a little tricky here because visually, I don't see what we're retracing right now. So because if we're retracing this move here, we almost already retraced 100%. There is no chance. We have 5 waves up here, and we have potentially 5 waves up here. So, but which means we only have a 3-wave move up here, which makes it a corrective move, which means this has to be part of a flat correction. And we actually a couple of weeks ago, or yeah, I think last week or the week before, spent quite some time analyzing it, and it really fits the definition of a flat correction very, very well. Which, however, would mark the end of the flat correction here. And here we had a low at 92,055, and here we reached 92,115, which then, on the contrary, would somehow mean that that's the start of our next upwards move. And then if we retrace this far here, we would need to have a complete pattern up till here, and I don't see it. Yeah, so that's kind of bad. I mean, not super bad, but annoyingly bad. If we zoom out a little bit, we probably will have to take the time to it looks like we're starting a pattern from here. So, I mean, take the time to label the bigger picture. But if we're starting a pattern from here, then we would assume that we basically have our wave 1, 2, and then that's confirmation for wave 3, where we would have another wave 1, 2, and here another 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5. Maybe we are really indeed correcting this here. We will not do that today. So I'm still bullish on Bitcoin, but by focusing only on this area here, we might have overlooked the bigger picture pattern that might point towards correcting a bigger wave. Yeah, we'll definitely have to label just this part here, and ideally actually label from the 15,000 low that we had in November 22. Or yeah, 15,500 low. I don't think that we have 5 waves finished here, so visually that would be 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I still believe there's more upside to come before we see the next big correction in Bitcoin. So our little bit of Bitcoin that we hold, we will just keep holding for now. But yeah, like I hate to admit it, but it looks like I was partially wrong here. Although this here is a clear flat correction, so I just cannot make sense of this part here right now. So yeah, we'll wait. Right now, position is still at a small plus, I would say, because we entered roughly here, but might be that it gets into a small loss. But again, we'll just hold on. It's not a big position, so and until we have a clear pattern that tells us otherwise, we just yeah, like hold on. Yeah, so yeah, moving on. XYO, as said, should retrace further. Question is how far, but I would expect that we touch the 61.8 retracement at this point. We managed to finally hit the 50% retracement. XRP should move sideways and down. Storage should eventually actually here make its turnaround. So for this potentially being ABC, correcting this 5-wave move, could go a little lower. We would have the 61.8 retracement around the corner. And what else matters to us? Algorand is now retraced 38.2%. We didn't label this whole mess. Possible that the correction is over. It's yeah. But overall, yeah, overall, we also would need further sideways movement to break out of this channel here to confirm that we're indeed in wave 5. So, yeah, so crypto is looking quite red actually. Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting to watch the next couple of weeks how it develops. And yeah, I definitely need to dedicate more time, but I'm really slammed right now with other stuff. So we can relabel, but it's tricky because my biggest exposure is obviously in GameStop, which means I pay a lot more attention to this here than I bother to, I don't know, like invest into labeling storage, where we have, I don't know, $500 in tokens that I actually got for running a node, so didn't have to pay anything for them. Yeah. Anyway, so what else can we look at today? Nike is dropping a little bit. We will have to dig into Nike as well as soon as we actually start. I mentioned that I believe it's possible that we hit our bottom here as an ABC correction and we'll go up from here. Now we retraced quite a little bit in that candle, so it might be that I called the gun or jumped the gun here too early. There are a lot of things that I appear to be or have been too hasty about. But we also didn't jump in yet, so we first need to free up capital. Yeah, like, yeah, not one of my greatest moments today, or the entire week, actually. I don't know why. And NVIDIA, yeah, we don't have a full labeling on the chart, yeah. So visually, we made a new low here. Should potentially finish the correction at 124, or maybe even already here, yeah, so SPY. I think there we were looking for further downside, or we don't have it labeled and it's not loading. Yeah, SPX is loading, but we pointed out that it should be 1, 2, maybe 3, so further move down. Yeah, 4, 5. Yeah, Yeah, it's not much fun today, to be honest. Yeah, so there are a lot of things that move weirdly. Some things still fall into the pattern, but I said a few things just are moving not the way I expected. Bitcoin especially. So I mean, it's possible if we bounce from here, then everything's perfectly fine. We just have some weird pattern till here, correction, and we go up. But we will have to label the bigger picture. I'll probably only manage in the new year, but then in January we are moving, and so it's going to be also tricky. Tricky. I'm not sure how much value I can provide in the stream today, to be honest. So, because I don't want to take the time to dig into the things that currently don't make sense, because we would have to label them from the beginning. And so we focus on GameStop, and the rest is currently without guarantee. I mean, usually everything is without guarantee. I'm just sharing my opinion. That sometimes can be surprisingly wrong. But I still believe that our overall holdings are worth it. So I believe NEO, even if I might turn out to be slightly wrong and we go a little lower, will then go up. I believe COS will go up. I believe Immersion will go further up. I believe that GameStop will first retrace and then go further up. And I believe that BNet also still goes further up. So I still believe in all our positions, even if in some of them the patterns right now are not 100% clear. I would love, so if you guys are lurking and watching, if you're also in some of those stocks or betting against them or so, feel free to share in the chat like why you're betting against them or why you believe they will go up further. I think I will actually call it a day here. Yeah, so I can clearly see I will not be able to provide anything of extra value today. Next week it's going to be Christmas and holidays, or market holidays there's an early close on the 24th. I'm not here on the 23rd. I'm not here on the 24th. 25th, the market is closed. We might have a stream on the 26th or not. I think not, because apparently we're only getting back on the 26th. And then the 27th is already Friday. Yeah, so which basically means we will have another stream next week on Friday. And then during that stream, we probably will have, there are few market close days, but we will have some catching up to do. Maybe we manage to at least relabel, for example, Bitcoin or at least one other asset that we hold positions in to make sure we're on the right track next Friday. But even if not, then we'll just have another leisure stream and then try to get more serious about the different labelings again in the new year. That's at least some kind of New Year's resolution. So anyway, with all that, not so much specific information for today. I still want to thank you for stopping by. As always, don't forget, as you saw, like, subscribe, enable the notifications. And then we see each other ideally next Friday. And in the meantime, if you want to discuss some stocks or investing stuff in general, don't forget you can always jump on our Discord server, and there is a special investing and trading channel where you can discuss it with me and some other community members. With that, have a great rest of the day and happy Christmas if you're celebrating it, or Merry Christmas, and then see you all next Friday. Till then, bye-bye.